Hi, my name is Mark Monlux, and you are watching Epic Sketch Time. This Epic Sketch Time is a monthly drawing group that meets at 4:30. We've been doing this long before the pandemic. We've been going for about 4 or 5 years now. So if you'd like to just sit and draw with other creative folk, please reach out to me. Links of return members, if you come more than 3 times, you'll get a link down in the doobly-doo below. And I live in Tacoma, Washington, and today I'm going to be drawing a comic page. And Bill, you were the next in the group. Tell us what you're up to.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a freelance illustrator and cartoonist from Seattle, Washington. And I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, which I'm currently playing catch up as we speak, working on some of the art for the next couple of strips.
And Roger, where are you right now?
Hi there, this is Roger Crown in Spokane, Washington. I'm currently working on my 11-second club for the June audio clip, as well as other non-profit clients, and some of my own projects here and there. Thanks.
So I'm going to see if I can get Russ Richards to join. Send him a little direct message. Russ occasionally can make it, but his wife is a teacher and she works with special needs kids. So sometimes she needs the bandwidth in their house to be in contact with his students. And also sometimes he's just busy on a project that he's got a NDA on, and he just doesn't like to even work on projects that he has an NDA on it with other people nearby. I think he's worried that he might let something slip. And I'm sending this out to another one of my friends who was not at Freelance Fandango earlier this week. Freelance Fandango is another drawing group. Well, actually, it's just a group of any type of creatives, and they meet on Monday from 11 to 1 o'clock, a 2-hour gathering. And my friend Jill has been getting the 2 meetings confused because, you know, COVID, all the days start blurring together. Let's see. So, do either of you guys in the, well, maybe not you, Roger, but Bill, I noticed one of my friends has a 5-year-old a Labrador Retriever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, Golden Retriever. And they're looking for a new home for it.
Uh-huh.
And I also have another friend. She's looking for a kitten, but there's been a run at the dog pounds and stuff. Between them keeping lower hours and people wanting to have pets to keep them company, there's a shortage of kittens right now. So Do you know of anyone who wants a dog, or anybody who has a kitten?
I don't know anybody about kittens. I have a friend one friend who might like one, but since they've already gotten a dog, I'm not sure if they'd want a second one. But I can certainly ask them.
I'm still looking for the Eventbrite link for you, Roger, for the next Wednesday's thing. There, I found it. I'll go ahead and I'll post it in the chat for you.
Okay, and will you also email it to me?
If you send me an email to remind me to do that after the meeting, I'll do that.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay, there we go. Posted it.
this is the start of some of my 11-second club animation.
Is that a robot that you were flipping through? His changing.
Man.
Was it a man? Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe I better change them up and make them look more manly.
Well, it was because his head was so oblong
I know.
and kind of squarish, and also his ears were these even caps. That's what was making him look a little bit like a robot.
Right. I hadn't thought about that, so I'll definitely change them. Thank you for that. Because you're right.
Well, if he had some hair instead of being bald, then I wouldn't see him as a robot.
Right. But I wanted to keep it simple.
Right. Okay.
I probably can't kept it too simple. If he tunes into a robot, I don't want to confuse the viewer, So yeah, I'll change it and add hair or something,
Well, if you're going to be coloring it later on, you could always just go with a flesh tone, and that would be enough differential, I think.
True. No, I won't. I won't take the time to color.
Bill, can you answer a question for me?
Sure.
In Dune, when you're doing submissions, is it half an 8.5 by 11, or is it an 8.5 by 11? Do they print it out as an 11 by 17 and then fold it?
Just a second. Where are they? Yeah, I mean, here's your standard copy of Dune. So.
Okay, so it's a half page based on a 8.5 by 11, so that would be 5.5 by 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can make them as big or as small as you can, but it's best to remember the proportions.
Yeah, but for them, that's the proportion sizes for the final would be 5.5 by 8.5 on a full bleed. Yeah.
And so.
Okay.
The last one I did for it.
Oh, by the way, I thought you did a pretty good job on I think your comic is the one that really stood out in the last one that was done for Dawn for the draw for It's an Epidromic.
Oh, cool.
Did you ever download the PDF for it?
No, I didn't think I got it. I thought you'd.
Oh, I posted it. If you go back to the event, or if you just go to cartoonistleague.org, you'll see that there's a post with a PDF link. I didn't send out the PDF. I sent out the link to everybody, and
Okay.
I sent that out along the invite. But yeah, it's been up for a couple weeks now.
Oh, okay, I missed it. Thanks for. I'll go check it afterwards.
Let me see if I can find that link. Just post it in the chat so you can download it directly.
Okay. Ah, okay.
Yeah, here we go. And yeah, there you go. That should let me repost that because it came in right underneath the other link and there's no real separation. Okay, there you go. And what I'm going to do is, for everyone who's watching, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share and just flip through what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So let's see. So this is the front page of It's an Epidromic, the first digital, straight to digital mini comic by the Claw. It's number 2 because the number 1 in the series was actually a physical one. And let's see, next page. How do I move the page? Here we go. These were submissions by Stan. His name's Stan Brown, but he just likes to go by Stan. He's been doing one of these shelter-in-place comics a week. He usually puts them out on Wednesday. Then we have a piece by Brandon Pierce. Oh, look, my byline for him bumped up. I'll have to fix that some of these days. And then James Stowe was doing a quarantine each day. And then I think right after about day 14, he kind of got hit with a project, or he had to start really applying himself because he was telecommuting to work. And I think he didn't have much time left. He did a whole week's worth just on the Tiger King. Let's see. Then we have a piece by Elizabeth Pankey and another one by Anik Zimmer, who's currently one of the other leaders of the Four Eyes. I thought hers was pretty cute. And then Here's Yours, Bill. Nice double page, 2-page spread. And then let's see, who is DK? When people just go by initials, they sometimes want to have that anonymous factor. Well, hold on. This, oh no, there's a page missing. My friend Larry submitted a page and it's not in here. I wonder if I posted the wrong PDF. There might be a couple pages missing. Oh no, no. Well, I'll have to double check that. And then here's the last page was a piece I did. A little bit of promotional art. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I think what I'll do is Bill, are you doing things longhand or are you doing stuff on the screen? Can you show us what you're up to?
Oh, sure. Just a second. Where is the other? Okay, pretty much. Let me turn on all the layers so I can show it off properly. Oh, that's fine.
What is that weird beep sound?
That's me trying to get the whole, have it visible on the whole screen and not letting me.
Oh, hang on. Did I not do a screen share?
I thought I'm on it sharing.
I do, yeah. I see one.
Oh, okay. Then that's just me.
Oh, that's why. There. Ah, okay. And let me turn on the, and then with the other layer. So this is what I have so far for it. It's a continuation for this bar scene where
all I see, Bill, is a little bit of a corner. You got it enlarged so much.
oh,
There we go. Now I can see it. Okay.
everything visible, okay.
Okay, so you got a bar scene with a couple of spirits.
Yeah, Jianxi specifically, as sort of a, it's part of the, a recurring gag that I have is a department of a celestial bureaucracy called the Department of Minor Nuisances. And the Department of Minor Nuisances are the people responsible for missing Tupperware lids, missing your bus because you can't cross the street in time, lottery tickets that are off by one number, misplaced keys, etc. And because of reasons, they keep getting behind on some of the protagonists in the strip, and so are having making elaborate plans for how to make the most of the few times that they're able to catch up. And very frequently, because of red tape and everything, they frequently have to jump through many hoops, or in this case, have meetings that never happened at bars. And so this is a continuation.
It's 5 o'clock.
This other one where let me show you the just a second. And so I just finished doing the sets for the two that take place before it. So this, I was pretty pleased how this one came out. But anyway, so I'm making progress.
Well, I'd like to, why don't you just keep screen sharing while you're actively working on that? Since I'm working on my lap and Roger's working on his lap, it'd be the most interesting thing for people to watch other than our mugs.
Okay. One thing that I've been very excited about is ever since I got this iPad, my productivity has skyrocketed. And I've been making a point of keeping things going forward that way.
So at one time I had a touch monitor, and I could actually draw on the monitor on my old computer. But I lost that computer hardware or hard drive, and then I got the newer Windows 10 computers now. I just haven't set up my touch monitor yet to do that in order to screen share. I'd like to do that.
Well, that would be great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful monitor. It's a 22-inch. I don't know what's the brand.
What is it,
Plan
a Cintiq or what type of monitor is it?
Plan R.
Oh, I've never heard of that model.
Maybe it's Plan R. They're more into the industrial end of monitors, I think. That's probably why you haven't heard of it, maybe, but really neat when it did work. It worked like a charm. But like I said, I've got to get the drivers and reset it to this computer that I've got now. And I've got to get a second camera to view toward my monitor, as well as my spatial monitor, however exactly that works.
Oh, what it does is once you have a monitor connected to your computer, you can just tell it when you hit screen share, you can select which screen that you want to share. Now you can show the entire monitor, or you can just show the application that's up and running at the same time.
True.
And that way it'll just start broadcasting.
Do you know what?
And you're using an app called Minicams, which is great because Minicams is really built to show not just one screen or two screens, but multiple screens.
Right, right.
So you could, with your thing, have your face while you're showing us what you're drawing at the same time.
Right.
You could even show, another reference like, okay, here's the drawing that I'm working from,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with the second camera. But I may work one or both ways of like you suggest.
Oh, I understand.
I just haven't quite got that second camera. And this camera I'm using now is a cheap $10 one, I think. I mean, it's a good, great camera. I love it to death. But as you can tell, it doesn't have a stand to it. So that's why it's cockeyed hosting of my ugly mug. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the new payment of the COVID-19 when Congress finally passes that, if they pass it.
Another payment? I didn't know they were doing another payment.
There was,
They're just thinking about it, I think.
I think, I don't know for sure, but it might have gotten through the House, but McConnell's sitting on it.
Right.
I
That's the
heard.
problem. Exactly, that's the problem.
Is McConnell also the guy who sits on, who's been sitting on the Graphic Artists Guild thing?
No, quite the opposite. I always forget the guy who's been sitting on it, but it's one of the senators from Oregon, and I always blank on his name. It always feels weird working on these things with the guild, where some of the where you find yourself considering nut jobs like Kennedy as your allies, and their biggest problem comes from the biggest, most liberal person in the entire.
Yeah, when it's come to copyright, it's always been that way.
So, elaborate what you mean.
Oh,
Legislation.
the Guild has been basically working on a bill of copyright reform that would allow for basically a small claims court for copyright. So you wouldn't have to make such a big federal deal out of it. It would be for suits that would be less than, $10,000.
Right.
Because a lot of artists don't have the type of capital. Most of the stuff that artists are being ripped off by is penny ante stuff. And because they're being ripped off on such a consistent basis, and they can't go through the whole rigmarole of a big multi-year lawsuit that could reward them potentially with hundreds of thousands of dollars, they don't file for a claim. And if they're not going to bother to file for a claim, then they're certainly not going to bother to register. If they're not bothering to register, then the Copyright Office isn't going to be seeing any money, which is what's been happening all these decades. Artists just say, why should I bother buying myself this protection if it's not protecting me, or if it's really, protection that's too high on the shelf for me to reach.
I see.
So that's what that's about.
I mean, for a while, Rand Paul was against it too, which always confused the heck out of me, because considering Rand Paul is pretending to be a libertarian, and if you read if you know your Ayn Rand, the only thing that, according to her, the only thing the government is good for is protecting patents, and guess what a copyright is? Not that Rand Paul was ever anything close to consistent.
I am trying to type an exclamation point inside Procreate, and I keep getting commas. Oh, there we go. I got it now.
So to Mark, I see you're drawing in the underdraw in red pencil. Is that a better?
Oh, that's Bill.
Oh, Bill, I'm sorry.
Most of the time I actually prefer blue, but but this is stuff that I import where I did my initial sketch from Procreate, and for some reasons I don't understand what normally is a automatic button to turn whole folders blue on Clip Studio Paint doesn't quite work with this stuff, but the red pretty much works fine. It's just a personal preference.
Right.
The main point is that it's very different from the black line that the finished product is.
Right. So can you, will you have to erase the blue or can you filter it out?
Oh, the blue, technically I have, here's the really cool thing about Clip Studio Paint. There's a function for it right here, if you can see it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this little pencil marker here, that turns all of my drawing into a what they call a draft layer. So what that means is none of that pencil line is actually there. Once I import the finished, when I import the finished version, it will not appear in any form that I save it as.
Right. So that's like a layer, as it were.
Right. And yes, everything here is in different layers. So even if what I said was not true, I just delete it like that.
Right. I was working on layers in oh, I can't. Art Rage. And I really love working in layers. And layers, you can get up to, I think, 30 layers on Art Rage.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's unlimited. Either way, I love working in layers.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it allows you to correct so many evils that you inflicted on yourself.
So, Mark, can you show us to the camera what you're working on?
Sure. I'm just now doing the preliminary layout for Bill. You'll have to stop screen sharing for a moment.
Okay.
So all I've done is I got an idea for my layout. So I just have some text in a bloom at the top,
Right.
some text in the bottom, and now I'm just going to rough out the panels. I tend to work by okay, there's the Marvel way where you do the drawing first and then you fit the text in around it. And then there's the DC way where you put the text down first and then you work the drawings in. And I tend to be more of a DC drawer.
Is there an advantage from one over the other, or is it just personal preference?
Well, the Marvel way allows for the people who are doing the drawings to determine the story flow. Most of American comics are moment to moment, or scene to scene, action to action, Very few are from aspect to aspect. So Marvel artists can basically, they're given a rough summary of where the story should go, and the artist then draw the entire panel. You can get the it's all about the art. It's less about making the story fit exactly. I mean, the writers will alter their dialogue a little bit to fit the story and the mood that the artists are creating, and that's referred to as the Marvel way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really bastardized way of saying it. Now, DC Comics, on the other hand, back when they were doing horror comics, the guy who was writing would actually type out the panels ahead of time, and then once he had the script for the story, he would then just hand that off to the artist, who would pencil around the text. So some scenes would be cramped and small, and others would be more explosive, or it's just a different way of working, but it puts the emphasis on the story rather than on and then the artist comes up with the solutions after the fact.
Yeah.
Now, it's not completely done that way either way anymore, but it all depends on how you're comfortable working. Sometimes, I'm so used to working with a set pattern. Like, I have a 9-grid layout. I know where my dialogue's going to go. I'll add a couple of balloons usually, but for me, I like to have the text figured out in advance.
Yeah, I mean, I think you actually meant EC, Mark. But
you're right. It was EC, not DC.
Yeah, but I mean, I frequently am been guilty of doing the Marvel way, but that's mainly bad habits in my case. I sort of started finding, getting around writer's block by doing the art first and pray I came up with dialogue by the time I was done. And regrettably, the end product of getting into that habit is a whole lot of unfinished work. So I'm trying to get better at script making, but every time I'm uninspired, I'm pretty much go with the, okay, I know what beats I have, so do them while you think about it.
Neil, I got a question for you. I interrupted you. That was bad of me. How do you do a screen grab inside off of your iPad?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it a Photoshop of the screen? Do you hit like the button and the...
I'd have to look that up. I haven't.
That's what it is. You hit the top button and the side button at the same time, and that'll do a screen grab. Okay. Never mind. I just have to find where that screen grab went to now.
It'll probably go to your photo file, and you need to move it elsewhere. I mean, generally I generally export everything I do on Procreate to one of my Dropbox folders, actually a cloud for the Photoshop documents.
There it is. You're right. It's in my cameras. I wonder if I can just copy that. No, don't do that. Okay, I'll go in. I'm cropping. Oh, Bill, why don't you go ahead and screen share again?
Oh, sorry, I thought I was. Uh,
So a question to Mark.
Yes.
What made you decide to go from Google to a Zoom meeting?
Oh, basically, Google Hangouts became a pay-for platform. They stopped doing it for free,
Oh,
and so when that happened, then it was sort of like I was looking over at Zoom, and I started using Zoom wouldn't allow you to do it free for a while, and but they would limit you to just 40 minutes.
right.
And I was fine with that. And that's what we did for this group. Was 40 minutes at a time. But then when the pandemic started happening, I thought, okay, I'm going to be using Zoom a lot at this point. And there were a couple of other online services that I hadn't been using quite as much. Like one was Lynda, which had basically Lynda, if you're paying for a LinkedIn Pro, you're already getting Lynda, but you can also get Lynda via, most libraries will let you have Lynda on a day-to-day basis. And I thought, you know what? I think I'll just, whenever I need to use Lynda, go to the library. And that was running me like $27 a month. And so I stopped that, and then I decided to go ahead and get Zoom. Zoom's about $12 or $14 a month.
Now,
So
there's something called Google Meet now, video.
yeah, but it's sort of like you have someone who started the race first, and that was Zoom, and everybody was using Zoom, and people were using Zoom for their business, and almost everybody else I knew was using Zoom. So I thought, you know what? All these other platforms are working around Zoom, like Eventbrite. Eventbrite just now started getting around to working with Facebook, and Facebook just started to have the ability to have little meetings, but I don't know anyone who uses it because everybody is using Zoom instead.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I've noticed with Facebook doing that is all of the zoos are using the Facebook at several of the zoos that I follow are using that Facebook function for their little educational shows.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, Zoom and Google integrates into each other and everything else nowadays.
And I was tempted to use Minicam because it's also a free app. Apparently, there's not a time limit on it. I'm kind of curious, what made you choose Minicam?
Because my current AvaCam app doesn't work with multi-camera and or meetings like this, unless I buy the Pro version, I think. So yeah, I'm still shopping around what to do, but I like the functionality of Google Meet better than I do Zoom. Zoom takes me all day to get here, you know, in the meeting. Or at least it did me today. And last week I was going to join you guys, but I couldn't because it wouldn't let me go the final stage of either the password or something, you know. Clunkiness of Zoom is there compared to Google, to me. So to Bill, is this going to be a comic layout type thing or online digital?
This is an online comic strip
Oh, okay.
at rhapsodies.wpmorse.com.
Okay.
And if you like it, if you check it out, if you like it, tell all your friends. If not, we never had this conversation.
Right.
And if you like it especially much, I now have you can get the strips a week early on my Patreon account.
Okay, so on your Patreon account, is there a minimum we can do or not?
Minimum is $2, and that'll get you what I just said.
Right.
Then I have a $5 tier, which will also give you unique online material. And then I'm working on my $10 level. I definitely need to put more stuff in it. At the moment, what the $10 one will get you is a cameo in this strip and either this strip or any of my other projects.
Right.
I'm thinking of other good things to put on it because I deliberately moved the cameo service up to the $10 level, because not out of laziness and whatnot, but suddenly I worried that I would have if heaven forbid things start my Patreon account started getting popular, and started having too many cameo potentials. It's not me being lazy, but I don't actually have as many scenes where there might be background people in the background as I'd like for it to offer that service for everybody. And that's one down.
So, Bill, I'm not hearing any construction over in your neck of the woods. Did they quit for the day?
Unless that's
It's
them.
5:30.
Unless that's them laughing out there. Mostly, I mean, yeah, I think they're generally out by 5. how much noise they make. It depends on what they're working on that day. I mean, happily, they haven't been doing much heavy, either they've not been doing as much heavy machinery, or because now they're working on the interior, the worst of the noise is blunted by the concrete.
Well, I think the clock just said that it's 5:30. So I'm going to show you guys how far I've gotten along on my comic. Let's see. I'm basically going to be drawing a little mantis ranting some famous poetry in the middle of a field filled with flowers.
Nice.
So,
what poem?
Let's see. It's from the Odyssey, and let's see. The first caption is, "Hold the now, the here, through which the future plunges to the past." And then I'm going to have multiple scenes of
Is that
Rose.
is that from the underworld scene?
I don't know. I just grabbed one of David's random prompts, and another quote was, "God made food, the devil cooks," and so that'll be the other one that I do.
Nice.
Anyway, nice talking to you guys. What were you showing us? What you were doing, Roger? That I saw that guy's face.
Yeah, just the update of the new guy.
Hold it up and say something. That way, people will see it.
New update of what the guy looks like in my 11-second animation.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you, Bill. I'll see both of you next week.
Okay, you all have a good one.